welcome back to Manifest Her. Today, we're super excited. We just finished our program that we've been on, the New Year's stuff, planning and everything. So this week we did the money jar. So like kind of healing our relationship with money. So we talk a lot about that. And then just really how our week has been and all of that. If you have any blocks with money, anything that you've been working on, this really helped us a lot. I haven't been very good with money in my life, and I feel like this really changed like the energy around money, not just like how to save, how to budget, nothing like that. It's the energy, the frequency that you're feeling, the gratitude for the money you have, stuff like that.
Yes.
So it's really, really good. We're excited to get into it.
It's going to be really juicy topics, so we're going to split this into part 1 and part 2. So check out your part 1. If you're like, oh yes, I need to hear the rest, which you will, then check out our part 2 later on.
Yes.
Yay.
So exciting. Make sure you subscribe, share, all the things. Follow us on social media. I'll put our thing. But hello, how
All
are
the
you?
things. I am so good. It's been
Yeah.
much better, much different week than last week. I was good Saturday, but the week hadn't been good. And so this week, it was like I was already starting out on that good energy, and it made the week so much better. I was able to create a
Yay.
lot more things. Yes.
That's so exciting. Me too. I
Yes.
had a good week. I like took care of myself this week. I went on Thursday. I cut 7 inches off my hair. You see
Whoa,
how
it
short
looks
it is?
gorge, by
It
the
was,
way.
thank you. It was
Mhm.
below my butt. That's how long it had gotten. And I freaking
Wow.
chopped it. I mean, it shrinks up, when you get it curly, but so to me it's so short. It's so short, but everyone else, like, I still have long hair, but I'm like having heart attacks. But it was good. And then on yesterday I went to Bree's. She got that new head spa. I don't know if you've seen it. Have you ever seen a Japanese head spa? Do you know what that is?
No.
So you lay on this table, and the head is like basically a big deep sink type thing,
Okay.
but it has a headrest. So you lay on it, and it has like a waterfall water thing that like washes your hair. She like does a scalp
Ooh.
treatment, like massage my head, massage my shoulders.
Ooh.
She has packages like include facials. I didn't do a facial, but it was so relaxing. And I've been working so hard, so just like taking that time to just like turn everything off and not be
Yeah.
on, because I've been on electronics basically all day every day for so long, and so I'm just like, it was so peaceful. And then we went to lunch. I loved having lunch with her.
Mm.
It was great. And then this
Mm.
morning, me and some of the ambassador girls went to brunch at a new place out here. It was so good. It was so
Where'd you
good.
go?
It's called Hash House, or Hash. I think it's called Hash House. Hash something.
And it's in West Jordan?
Draper.
Draper?
Yeah.
Okay.
It
Oh, that's
was
right. I
so
keep
good.
forgetting you're down in Draper.
Yeah. When you come back, we for sure have to go there. It was so good. But I don't know why I ever order drinks, because sometimes I'll see a drink and I'm like, ooh, that sounds really good. So I'll get a drink, and
Mhm.
every single time I regret it. I think I just need to be at the place
Aw.
where I'm like, I'm not drinking anymore, because it
Aw.
tasted really good, but I only drank a little, and I felt like I started getting a headache. I just had to take some ibuprofen. I had heartburn,
Mm.
and I'm just like, and I felt a little bit
Mm.
tipsy for like a minute, but I'm just like, I don't really love that. I don't know. I just think I'm done drinking alcohol.
Ooh.
So
Get it?
yeah, and I say that all the time though, and then I see a drink that looks really good, like this one. It came. I mean, I have to put a picture. It came in. This is the reason I bought it. It had like a long. It was like this high, like this wide, like a thick Ziploc baggie, basically. And they put. It's
Yeah.
called a hash bag, I think, hash booze bag. And then they put the drink
Mhm.
inside of it. It's just so cute. I'll put the
It
picture so you
sounds
can see it,
cute.
but it was very cute.
Yeah.
And that's
It
what made
sound
me
What was
want
the
it. I
flavor?
was like, I
Like
want the
fruity?
experience. It was so good. Yeah, it was fruity. That's why it was like
Okay.
rum, blue caraca, or whatever that stuff's called. Some
I know what
flavor
you're
that I've
talking
never
about.
heard of. Yeah, and something else, lime. It was really good.
Okay.
But
Okay.
yeah, but I did have a few days ago. My mind was kind of spiraling, and
Mhm.
I realized once I started thinking of like what's causing me to spiral and have all this anxiety and all of that, I realized that I have abandonment issues that are pretty bad, and I don't
Okay.
think I ever addressed them, because I started thinking about like, is that what it is? And I started thinking about who like has abandoned me in my life, and I feel like everyone has. Most
Mhm.
people, there are very
Yeah.
few of my friends haven't, and
Mhm.
my parents, like there's certain things, like I grew up with my dad living out of state until I was like 12. I only saw him like once or twice a year. Just like little things that like when they build up, they cause abandonment issues. So I'm like, I
Yeah.
latch on to people and I'm like
Mm-hmm.
so scared to lose them. And so if I haven't heard from them, I kind of panic and I like, it
Mm-hmm.
just makes my mind spin.
Yeah.
So I set up an appointment to start going to therapy again. I haven't gone for
Okay.
a long time. And Snapchat was my trigger because I
Mm-hmm.
have had so many issues with Snapchat in the past with people that I've dated, and it just I just started using it a little bit more, and then that's what started. And I was just like, I can't do this, so I deleted
Yeah.
Snapchat completely. Already, it's
Okay.
only been a couple days. I feel way better. All of that anxiety stuff,
Okay.
it feels way better. And I'm like
Okay.
just super proud of myself for recognizing like something is wrong. How I'm thinking and behaving right now is not normal. I need to
Yes.
fix this, especially when like
Yes.
the people around me are working so hard on fixing themselves. And it's just interesting to, because a week ago I felt totally healed. I was like, there's not
Mm-hmm.
anything that I need to work on. I felt really good, other than like always improving, but not anything I need to address.
Right. Right. Yeah.
And now I feel like there's something pretty big that I need to address. So I think that explains a lot of how I've been in my relationships and stuff. So I think it'll be good. I'm excited to talk to a therapist.
Mm-hmm.
So that was kind of a big like blow to my
Proud
gut,
of
but I feel
you.
good now. Thank you.
Proud, 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 proud. Well, that's big, to come to that realization. And it's big that you not only came to that realization, but you did it quickly. And then you did something about
Mm-hmm.
it. Like all of those should make you feel really good, and
Yeah,
recognize,
I do feel really
old
good.
me, I know old you would not have handled those things the same,
Mm-hmm.
Definitely if it was old me, I would have stayed in something like that, got worse,
Yeah.
worse, downward spiral kind of thing. And so the fact that you're like, this isn't feeling right.
Mm-hmm.
Let me spend some introspection, get to the bottom of it, and then, aha, I think I'm on to something, abandonment.
Mm-hmm.
What am I actually going to do about it now? Right? Because you could
Yeah.
have just realized it and been like, all right, well, and especially kind of just thinking of, I just watched day 8, this morning, or day 9 this morning in the workshop, and how she's like, we amplify the bad feelings,
Mm-hmm.
right? You could have amplified and stayed in and texted me and called me, it's bad, right? And really
Yeah.
got into that like heaviness of how good you did not feel, and you did
Mm-hmm.
the opposite, you
Yeah.
know?
Thank you. I feel
So,
like in the
yeah.
past I would have been like, I've come so far and now I'm so much further back and like so upset. But like, because I've come so far, I can recognize that that's my issue, because there's so much like healing that happens when you're single. And like when people say stay single, heal yourself, get better, like yeah, I healed everything around me being single. But when
Yeah.
you are dating or talking to someone or any of that, and you start having those like jealousy issues and like anxiety of like, do they really like me, do they not, like all of those types of things, you
Mhm.
can't heal that and experience that when you're focusing on yourself and being single. So it's just
Yes.
something that like I have to pay attention to those things, because when I am in a relationship, I want to be the most healed version of myself for myself and for them. And so little things like when I notice those things, I've got to try to fix them because I don't want to bring that into a relationship in my future. So
Love.
I
That's
feel
what it
really
was
good.
about for me when I was in that stage. It's like, you know what? I think in my introspection when I was single, I had to really stop to myself. And for me, it's like I keep attracting the same type of man, right? I'm divorced, right? Getting kind of into that topic. I've had a serious relationship outside of that. That didn't work out. I'm attracting like these crazy, like I was getting some toxic men that would do like
Mm-hmm.
crazy stuff. I remember literally thinking at one point, like, my life feels like Dateline, and I could end up on an episode of Dateline,
I
you
remember
know?
thinking that about you. It was
Yes,
terrifying.
like
We'll definitely talk
easily.
about that in our dating episode. We'll for sure talk about that. But yeah, anyway.
Oh my God. So it's just like realizing that, and getting into that and that healing. I had to say, what is it about me? You
Mm-hmm.
know? And that's one of the things that kind of led me personally to a divorce was I needed something inside that I was not finding within my marriage when I was
Mm-hmm.
married. That's a big decision. My kids were young. My husband at that time was my whole life. I had to literally like create a life outside of him. And so it
Yes.
was hard to do. And I didn't want to be that kind of person that's like regretting, oh, did I give it all I had? Like after the fact. So I
Yeah.
really did wait and gave it all I had. And when I finally pull that trigger, so to speak, it was like, you have to heal you. There's just a lot of things that he can't do for you, and it's not the right setup, right, for you to do in this situation. You need to just kind of have that. What was that song by Fergie? It used to be my jaunt. She was like, it'll come to me. It was a song by Fergie about put on my big girl panties. I gotta look at it or Google it or
Yeah.
something.
Let's look
And
it up.
that was my song, but she was just like basically singing to herself or writing a letter to herself. Like it's time, right? It's time to let go and move on. Something about put on your big girl, be a big girl now. What was
Big Girls
that
Don't Cry?
song?
Is it that one?
Yes.
Big Girls Don't Cry? Okay,
Yep.
let me play it. I have it right here. I was waiting for that part. Big Girls
Oh,
Don't
that took
Cry.
me back.
Yeah, I'm gonna for sure play that when we're done. I'm gonna sit and listen to it and be in the
That's
vibe.
what
It's
really
good.
helped me to heal and know like there's things I have to do internally. That makes me
Mm-hmm.
well up and kind of teary eyed just rehearing it. I haven't heard that in a long time, but that was my go to. And it's like, you can do this, right? And I did do a lot of crying, but there's times you gotta girl up and just do the thing. And it's one of the best things I did. I'm so
Yeah.
different than I was. And if I had not given myself that chance, I might not even have lived. I might have kept trying to kill myself, succeeded, right? One of those things. And it's like, look who not only I've got to create so far, but who I'm getting to create in the future.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get to attract that in a partner, when you're thinking about that from being in just kind of a single perspective, when you are ready and you're like, I've done some work and I'm feeling open and ready, to receive love in my life, then you get to attract those things that you want and not the things that you don't want, all the decoy men, you know. And I
Yeah.
fell for a lot of decoys thinking they was it, you
Yeah.
know, and they're
Same.
not.
Yeah, it feels better to be in a better place. And I'm glad that I had that I at least had a little bit of time of talking to someone and recognized that in myself so that like now that because I'm still single, I still have time to work on it. I have time to go to therapy, figure it all out. So it's good. It's funny you say that about that song because I had a song after my divorce that like made me stronger and feel better about everything. It was Rainbow by Kesha, and it talks about how like the world is like black and white and dark and like sad, and that's how you are living, and then you finally like break
Mm,
free and you start to see that there's like colors and like everything comes together. I'll send it to you so you listen to it later, but because I just realized I don't think we can play that and post it on YouTube, so I'm gonna have to cut it out, and I'll just put the name of it so people can find it.
mm,
But yeah, so Rainbow by Kesha, I'll send it to you so you
awesome.
can listen, but that was my song. I actually wanted a tattoo of it, but now I'm glad that I didn't because a lot of that was overcoming my marriage, and I just don't care about that anymore. It's still a good song. It means a lot to me, but not
Yes.
something I don't want to have a tattoo and
Yeah.
be reminded of that. So, yeah. So, how was
Yes.
your
Yes.
week? You
Yes.
said you
Yes.
were able
I
to
love
create and
it.
stuff. What did you get done?
Oh my gosh. Well, first of all, my weight, because I've been trying to fast and lose weight and all the things. And for me, it was important. I said on one of the episodes when I first said I was going to be fasting to be under 200. And I reached under 200. So I'm like,
Yay!
and
I'm
my
glad you
weight
can feel that
shaper,
confidence. Yeah.
I don't know if anybody's ever waist trained, but
I still have yours that you gave me that was like a tiny bit smaller, and you said that you thought the one you had was a little bit too big, so we should switch, and we never did.
uh-huh.
So I haven't done it
Oh, we
before, but
did?
mm-mm.
Oh.
Actually, I don't
This
know.
is a new one. I had the girl, them ones I used to have were like, because they come in sizes and they were like a
Mm.
medium. I could not fit. I think I had ordered myself like a medium when I first last year thought I was going to get healthy and do the things. That thing was not even going. So I
Yeah.
ordered a large, like I kept ordering them and it was kind of like disappointing me. And then the large wouldn't get on. So this is like an XL, because
Mhm.
remember I said I got up to like 215 and my stomach was one of the things that I used to have a six pack. And I'm like, oh my God, I can like rest my hands on my
Yeah.
stomach. I don't like this. Like I can
Yeah.
like sit my hands.
I think it's so frustrating to have stuff that's too small. And that's why it was a big deal for me. I used to buy stuff smaller and be like, I'll fit into it eventually. It was a big deal to me to start buying things that fit me rather than trying to fit myself into things. So even
Yes.
though like it might suck in your mind to buy an extra large, like you feel more confident and better because you put it on and you feel good instead of it being like,
Yes.
it doesn't fit, I'm too fat. Like it changes your mentality so
Right.
much.
Exactly. And it worked. It's been working. My waist is super shrinking. So they come in like three rows. And when I first started wearing this in an XL, I could not even put it on myself on the widest row. And I'm like, Jensen, help me. So he'd help me every time. And then as
Mm.
I'm waist training, he's like, it's getting easier, babe. And he'd pump me up. He's like, it's easier to
Aw.
get on. Next thing you know, like I'm on the second row, which I'm really proud of
Yeah.
and I can start to put it on myself. I'm getting it. And he's like, you still need help? I'm like, yeah, because I'm spoiled. Yeah, I want help, but I don't really like, I can do it. And I remember with this exact trainer, I could not even fucking get it around my midsection and do it. Like I needed
Mm.
help for that. So I feel
Yeah.
so proud,
That's
because
awesome.
that's one of the things I created. It's part of my 111. I really wanted to lose the weight. I didn't create that last year. I couldn't get into the zone. And this year I'm just like rocking it out. I've been sticking to the working out and things. So just creating a lot for my health.
Yeah.
I sat down and did the planning, the calendar up to 6 months, which was actually kind of challenging for me.
Mhm.
But I conquered it and I got through and I'm feeling better about it and what I can create, and staying
Yeah.
in that energy. So that was a big thing for me was just like it took days. I had to keep working on this thing.
It took me a
And
while
I would
too.
give it all these hours. I'm like, I've been at this thing for like 3 hours to plan out 6 months when I
Mhm.
don't even have. And I think that's what the challenge was is I don't have as an entrepreneur in the stage that I am figuring out exactly what direction I want to go. There is nothing big for me to
Mhm.
plan, right? To do it the way that she was saying to do
I
it.
think
And that was
that
kind of,
the big things for you right now, like you've got to build a community. So like, and that's a huge
mm-hmm.
thing. So if you put
Yeah.
that like by 6 months, you want to at least have something in that, and then everything you have to
Mm-hmm.
do to get to building a community. Like you have to
Okay.
figure out like your niche to post. You have to figure out what kind of post you want to do. You have to figure out who you're going to be talking to when you're posting things. You have to like all of those things. That's like right there a bunch of steps that you have to do, and there's more to it than just that. And so if you
Mm-hmm.
break that down into all the little steps, that's a really big thing. um
It is. I like that.
Researching for retreats and stuff, like
Mm-hmm.
look up other people's retreats, how much are they charging, what do they include, like all of those types of things. And so you just put those little steps. I think that in your mind it's like it has to be some big, like you're planning a retreat or something like that, but there's so many
Right.
steps to get to before getting to there that you've got to
Yeah.
do. So it was a little bit overwhelming for me. And I realized that in the 6 month planning stage, it doesn't have to be everything. It's just those big things. And then because
Mm-hmm.
at the end of every month is when you like update it and stuff. So I was trying to put in all the little things, like the days I want to do my workouts, the days I want to see friends, all of that. And I'm like, I can do that monthly. The 6 month
Mm-hmm.
thing is only so my big goals that I want to hit in 6 months, I can get to that.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the end of the month, I still celebrate my month, look back at what I did, plan the next month, all the little things. And then it's not so much in one sitting because I was having a hard time too. It was a lot. So I got
Yeah.
January and February planned, and then the big
Okay.
things through July or June, whatever I did it to. And then
Nice.
every month I'll still keep doing it.
Nice. Yeah, I did all of it. It's fully planned, but it's like, and I had to customize my post-its because I had large
Yeah, mine
post-its,
are too
and that
big
was super
too.
time consuming. And I'm
Yeah.
like, and then they were like too big, and then I had to like tape the pieces that didn't have the sticky part because it was on the bottom of the
Mm,
post-it. So it was challenging for me in those areas,
yeah.
you know. Um, and yeah, I'm kind of what you said. I'm like, I don't really know what to plan where. She did explain the difference between like kind of organizing versus planning. But the thing for me, which I think was one of the biggest challenges, is I don't have to do anything. And that's right what has been my block, because I wake up at any
Mm-hmm.
time I want. I go to bed at any time I want. I eat when I want. I do what I want. There's literally no schedule. I have an income. Like, I could live my life like this, right?
Mm-hmm.
And not do anything. And that's what was the issue since, I left my job. It's like, okay, there's nothing. How do I plan and create, right, for me to post? Because I don't have energy to do things like posting all the time. So it's like, yeah, there's things I
Mm-hmm.
want to do. And I was kind of trying to grasp her like that. And like I said, I feel like I got it for a way that works for me. But it's like when you don't have to do anything, it's hard to make yourself do something, right?
Right.
And so you have to get into that. What's going to motivate me? What do I want to create? How would I possibly, if this is the one thing, what are the habits, and how can I just start to kind of structure my days so that when I'm looking, because a lot of what she said really resonated, like the tangibleness and the seeing it. And I get that so much more because I can have things on my phone all day, a phone calendar,
Mm-hmm.
and it literally goes over my head. It does nothing for me. I don't even know why I set those, to be
Yeah.
honest, because for me, they don't work at all.
Physical
I
stuff
don't
helps me
even,
more too.
look at my digital, but the tangible, and I've got my desk calendar and I got a big dry erase calendar in my office. And so for me, every day when I wake up, I can say and look at that calendar, which is what I started leaning into. What would I like to create today? What context, what things, what does that kind of look like? Right? What are going to be my business days so that I can sit down and super focus on my business? These are the things I would like to do with my business, grow followers, i.e., well, I need to have that within a context. Like, it needs to be in
Mm-hmm.
a structure for me, if that makes sense, because it
It
doesn't
does.
work me just being like, oh yeah, I want to do, and I'm keeping it. That's what I've been doing. And like, it's all up here. I want to do all the things, and that's great. And I got all these lessons and classes and certifications and things I want to do, but they're all up here. And then my day just slips by because
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to do. And I'm like, do, do, do. I'm that kind of person. It's really easy for me to be in my own world. People that date
Yeah.
me think it's funny. They're like, you really could be in your own world. I'm like,
Yeah. You
life of an
can.
introvert. That's
Yeah.
I entertain me, I do me, and
Mm-hmm.
so when there's really nothing pressing that makes you have to do it, then how do you get yourself to do it with a structure, with
Yeah.
a plan to really enforce? Does that make sense how I'm saying that?
Mm-hmm. It does. You have to find a way to make it something you enjoy. Because I spend my
Mm-hmm.
weekends editing, and at first it was very hard, but now it's not as hard, and I really love doing it. It gives me something to like keep my mind doing something and not sitting here feeling lonely. And so I found like a joy in it, and now it's easy for me.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to like when you first start doing it, I think it's always hard, and you just have to like
Mm-hmm.
push it. You don't want to do it. You want to relax. A big thing for me that helped is thinking about the fact that like yes, I want to sit and relax, but when I'm relaxing I have in my mind all these things that I want to do. So am I really relaxing, or am I spending my energy thinking about all of those things? Whereas if I just
Mm-hmm.
get my butt up and do them and then I relax, then I'm actually relaxing and I feel good and I've done the things, and then I get to actually enjoy the rest of my day. So that
Yeah.
made a big difference for me. But also
Yeah.
you just have to figure out like with posting, it's hard for you, and you have to find if you're creating something you love and you enjoy doing, and then posting it feels
Mm-hmm.
exciting for you. I
Mm-hmm.
think that Melanie's Impact Academy training, the social media training that she has, I think
Mm-hmm.
that will really help you because it's a different way of looking at social media and not feeling like so pressured. It's more like aligning with it. I think that'll help you. You just have to figure out, it has to be what you enjoy. Because that's why I
Yeah.
stopped. I didn't enjoy sitting and talking to it. So that's why now I'm hoping that I'm going to do like that my self-love book again, and then that just gives me something to do that I'm talking about, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm hoping it'll feel more aligned, because when I just talk I feel so awkward and weird, and
Yeah.
it's hard. But you just have to figure out what you enjoy about it, and then you'll find it. But to find what you enjoy about it, you have to force yourself when it's hard in the beginning, and then it gets easier.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm really motivated right now. I've got that working for me. the movement, which I've heard from like motivational speakers, when you can't find the motivation or the energy, like move, exercise. That's part of why I started doing
Yeah.
that too. Like movement creates motivation is one of the things that one of them said. And that really
Mhm.
resonated with me because I don't, like I said, it's easy for me to really shrink and not do in my current situation. Again, because I
Mhm.
don't have to. The house is little. Like there's days I don't even leave the house if I'm not
Yeah.
intentionally creating it. Right.
Mhm.
And so it's learning that and navigating that and trying to get it into this calendar. Like this is new. I've never reverse engineered my life or my year. So it's a really awkward thing to take on. And I think, again, especially kind of just from this perspective where I'm in this house, it's easy, right? Either I'm in the bedroom. This house in New Orleans is smaller, it's a shotgun, on the one side.
Mhm.
And so it's like either I'm in the bedroom or in the living room, and that's mostly it, or like the kitchen, because the back
Yeah.
room is where Jensen works, so if he's working I can't be back here or whatever, or the bathroom. Like it's a straight house, like there's
Mhm.
nowhere to even turn really, so it's easy just for me to wake up and just kind of not do, right?
Mhm.
Oh, let me do the dishes. Oh, let me pick up. Oh, let me sit down and want. Oh, now I'm hungry. Let me eat. What you want to eat, babe? We need to plan dinner. Oh, I need to go to the grocery store. Oh, cool. Yeah. Oh, you want to go buy cigarettes? Okay, I'll go with you. All right. Yeah, cool. All right. Now I got to plan dinner. Let me go ahead and cook it. What time you want to eat? Right. And so my
Mhm.
days just go by in like the everydayness,
Yeah.
if
I
that
think for
makes like
sure
the
you need to
chores.
put a schedule like as if it's your job and
Yeah.
make it so like during that time you don't do anything. Like you're working
Right.
as like you have a boss, but you're your own boss. Because
Yeah.
yeah, I would do the same thing. I if I could just sit around and like enjoy my days and it, I
Right.
would love that. I would love it. But then
Exactly.
it feels frustrating because you're not getting stuff done that you want to do and that's frustrating. So,
Yeah, I just think
you'll
I've
get
spent
there.
enough time in it. I
Yeah.
gave myself several months to do
Yeah.
that. And now I'm ready, especially again at the beginning of the year. I don't want to create the same thing, you
Mhm.
know?
You don't want to
Why?
end the year feeling like, okay, it's a new year. Now I'm finally ready to start. Like, imagine where you could be by the end of the year. And then going into the new
Exactly.
year, actually knowing your focus of your business and what you've already put in and having real goals. And like, you want to fill that. So, to fill that
Yeah.
by the end of the year, it takes putting an effort now.
Putting in effort now. So that's what I was kind of, and like I said, it was a little bit like pain point ish, but not negative where I got discouraged or
Hmm.
anything, just to the point where I had to like, that's enough working on that today. I'm not
Yeah.
really sure. I can't ask Melanie. I'm not live anymore and things. So let me just try to lean into it and see how it's going to work for me and makes sense. Right. Given everything I just said. And then you think about me trying to like calendar that and get into that because I can't do a big plan. Right.
Hmm.
And plan back from there when I don't have every day,
Yeah.
especially if it's like grow followers. Cause I wanted to do like, okay, that's my big, and I want to get to like 1,000. And what do I have to do? Like you said, but then it's like, okay, so that breaks down to only so many steps, which is like maybe once a week. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So it's like, okay, what am I doing with the rest of my
But
time
the
and my
thing
energy?
is, that isn't just once a week. Like brainstorming stuff, figuring it out is maybe once a week, but actually building an audience, the algorithm, you have to post every day. The algorithm is never going to push you out if you're not. And so building the content to post every day, like that's a lot. It's a lot of work and that'll fill up your days
Mhm.
if you actually put in the effort and try to make them good in the way you want them to be, in a way you'll be proud to post and excited to post. That takes a
Mhm.
lot. That one thing alone can be a huge thing for you. So,
It's a lot, but that's what I mean is just like nothing in my life made sense that I
yeah.
could plan it and paper it the way she
Yeah.
wanted us to do it. It's kind of just what
Mhm.
I'm getting at. So it was like
Yeah.
really hard because I found myself trying to plan the everyday things, right? If I want to do
Mhm.
this, I want to do this, I want to do that. And then you have 1,000 post-its, right? And things like that.
Yeah.
So it was weird. I did what worked for me. I think it's going to get
Mhm.
easier as a first time
Definitely.
ever doing that in my life and ever hearing this concept. And again, being in my situation where there is no particular big thing that needs planning that has steps. It's more of a getting myself into this and building the momentum and building
Mm-hmm.
that compound effect and building that in a way that feels good, you know, is what
Yeah.
I'm trying to get to. So
Yeah.
I feel like I'm starting to do that. Just even writing anything on the calendar in the way that I have it starts to give me that structure, you
Mm-hmm.
know?
Yeah. And by the time
Like,
we get to
okay,
6 months and you redo it, it's going to be a whole
yeah,
different experience.
I think it
So,
will be, let alone next year or in the future, all the different years.
yeah.
But, that it was fun. I got it done. Like I said, I just feel good having that getting towards something of structuring my day. What else? I met a lot of cool. There was this really cool, like one of the things I love about New Orleans is you just meet cool people all the time. So we were sitting outside smoking this morning, and this guy came down the street and just started talking to us. Random guy, never met him, and he stood there for like 20 minutes, maybe longer, just talking. I done saw pictures of his grandbabies and all the
Aw.
things. He told us where he lived down the street, and it was just like a really good time. And it's things like that that just fill my cup.
Yeah.
That makes me feel like I'm radiating and creating the frequencies and getting to a higher level, right where I want to be. What else did
That's
I
so
do this
funny.
week?
I'm so different in that way. If I was sitting on my porch and someone came and talked to me, it would ruin my week. If I was sitting out there intentionally ready to like relax and have some time to myself and someone came and talked to me, I would just sit and glare at them. Why are you talking to me? Do I need to call the police? Like like your front porch at your house in Utah, I'm so obsessed with it because it's far back and it's like enclosed a little bit. I love that porch. That's my dream. But like, yeah, sitting out there. So I love that you're like, it's so cool that you meet people, and I'm like, that would ruin my entire day.
Sometimes you're not in the mood, I will say,
Mm,
especially as a natural introvert, which no one believes, right?
yeah,
But I guess that's why people don't think I'm an introvert because I can just easily talk. Like he just stopped and
yeah.
it was fun and we just going on, kind of thing. But you do have to be, it's not every time. Sometimes I'll go to the back and smoke because
Mm,
you don't feel like it. You're like,
yeah. I never feel like
that
it.
time,
I don't think I've ever had a stranger come up and talk to me and been really happy about that. Maybe if I'm like out, not even if I'm out, I don't know. I'm sure there's some circumstances where I would enjoy that, but normally I need to be prepared for a conversation. I need to know what's about to happen. I'm so weird. But
Prepared.
yeah,
Parade season.
I've been focusing. I really want to start working out again. I'm not feeling very happy with myself. I don't feel healthy is my thing. I'm noticing my stomach. I'm having to take Tums more often, and I think that's because of gaining
Mm,
weight. And so I just have a really hard time finding time in my days to work out. So instead of to
yeah.
keep telling myself I'm going to go to the dance classes and stuff, I
Hmm.
signed up for Brooke's membership, for the Riot Dance Fitness membership, so I can dance from
Okay.
home. And I'm going to
Oh.
try to lift Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Fridays at the gym, just like on my lunch breaks and stuff. But I
Okay.
think every day I'm going to dance except for Sundays, and at least like have some movement so I don't have to be upset with myself if I don't lift. But I think lifting is important. It helps your muscles and helps you
Yeah.
burn more calories overall and stuff. So I really want to do that. But yeah, I signed up for that. I haven't done it yet. I think I'm going to do it today for the first time. And then I'm hoping
Oh.
I'll like it. She has like probably a couple hundred videos of dances, and you just like select the ones you want to do and in
Okay.
the order you want to do it. It has like warm up, cool down, self-love, like all of these things that like you just choose the ones you
Oh.
want. So I think it'll be
Oh.
really good because I love her classes. There's always like a favorite that we have, and so I love that I can just always do the ones that I want to do, and hopefully that'll help me. And then I can just go, when I have a time when I can go in, I can go in and feel the energy, but at least I'm still doing it. And I love that. And it makes me feel more confident. So I'm hoping that
Yeah.
confidence and stuff comes through the TV. I'm hoping it does the
Yeah.
same thing, but we'll see. Next week I'll let you know how it's
I think
going.
it
But
will.
yeah,
Hopefully.
I'm
Yeah.
excited. It gives me something. So that'll be
Yay. You
good.
have to tell me how you like it
I
and what
will.
classes you tried out.
Yeah.
That's what I feel so much better. Like I
I'm
just
so glad.
feel better. I think getting all those toxins out of my body is the biggest key, but combine that with movement too. I've got so much more energy. And I think that's just really helping me. You know, like the guy said, movement creates motivation. It's helping me in the other areas of my life to do because I have, and that's one of the things I used to not have energy ever. Girl, I used to be so, I
Yeah,
would tell
that's
Jensen,
where
I'm
I'm at
like,
right
it
now.
feels like my body's made of like lead, you know? And like I'm just
Yeah,
heavy feeling and like slow, sluggish. And I'm like, oh, I can't. How can you get yourself to do something when you feel like that, you know?
yeah,
And
it
so
makes a big
that, and
difference.
I'm like, babe, and that's when I was eating more, but I was eating junk, and eating crappy and
Mm-hmm.
not moving. I said, now I'm eating less. I'm still fasting, but intermittent. I'll eat every few days and I'll just do once a meal. And so it's really just been giving me a lot of the clarity and a lot of the, like, my skin looks better, the energy, the pep, all the things. And not, I believe in it. As long as
Yeah,
I stick to it, I'm going to have that compound effect in all areas of my life, which was really resonating in day 9, what Melanie said, because she's just like, don't give up kind of thing. Just do the things, create the energy, the gratitude. That's the point, right? With the
yeah.
money in the jars. And it's like,
Oh yeah,
create
let's
it
talk
and
about the
try to hold
cars.
it. Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Create it and try to hold it as long as you can. So, you want to
yeah.
talk about the exercise we did? What I'm talking
Yeah,
about?
I loved it so much. So it's like to heal our relationship with money. And what you do, so you get 6 jars. These are the jars. I'll show you. So I have 6 of them. And you label them each different things. And then you take, like when you get paid, you go to the bank, take all of your money out of the bank, and then divide it by percentages, which I'll tell you in just a minute. And then anything that's like, so there's one jar that's for life, which is like everything, like your rent, your food, all of that. So then that's the one you're going to spend. So then you go back to the bank and deposit that money back so you can pay bills and stuff. But just the feeling of like having the thousands of dollars in front of you, however much you have, and then dividing it out and seeing the money. And like for me, I'm just not very good at managing my money. I've never was really taught to save. I don't know. I've
Mm-hmm.
never been a saver. I've never had a savings. I'm just now starting to figure that out for my life. It's been really hard
Mm-hmm.
for me. So
Yeah.
for me, having like, okay, so I'll go through the jars because it explains more of how helpful it is. So I have, this is my life jar that is life. I just explained that one. I deposited most of the money, but then I know that my next check I have to pay rent, so I need more of my check. So I
Mm-hmm.
saved a few hundred of it to put in here, so that's why I still have money in my life one. So the life one is
Mm-hmm.
55% of your check, and a lot of people like you can't live off of 55% of your check. So she just said do this with as much as you can because you just want to feel the gratitude, right? You want to like have it. So this is 55%. And then there's this memories one, which is like if you're going to lunch with friends, if you're going to have a massage, things that like make memories, not like something you'll take for granted.
Mm-hmm.
That mine's almost empty because yesterday I went to the head spa and today I went to brunch with my friends. So I used my memories money. And I love about this is that she says you have to spend it every 3 months. Like you can't let it build up more than that. So it's forcing you to spend money on memories and doing stuff rather than like, because some people have a hard time spending money, just like people have a hard time saving it. So
Mm-hmm.
love that. This one is the freedom jar. So the freedom one is like your life savings, like financial freedom basically is the goal. So you don't spend that one. This one is milestones, which is like my daughter's gonna be 16 next year, so I have to buy myself a new car to give her mine. So the milestones is gonna be for my new car. And it could be like a vacation, like something that you have to like really save for, and not just like the memories one is just more like going out doing things every once in a while. This one's a big thing. And then in all of these, other than the first one, 55% is 10%, except for the last one, which I'll tell you. Oh, that's all of them. Then the last one is 5%, and it's give. So you save 5% just to give to people, which I love doing that. I love having that so that I can make sure that I'm giving as well. So for me, so I did this a few days ago. I know you haven't done yours yet, but like every time you do it, so I got a ton of like big and small bills. And so I had like a lot of fives and ones and stuff so that I would have more bills to put into each one. And each one
Mm-hmm.
that each bill you put in, you say like, thank you for, so like the, let me think of one to use an example. Like this is the jar I forgot. This jar is growth. It's also 10%, so it's going towards your growth. So as you put in each bill, you say like what you're going to use it for. Like, thank you for my girls' night out. Thank you for my car. Thank you for like all the things that this money is going to pay for. And I just love like you're being grateful for your money, because when it's in a bank, I transfer money around, pay my bills. It's gone in a second, and then I always feel broke because it's just gone so fast. But this, like, I've noticed that having it sit out on my dresser, like, I feel broke right now because I don't have money that I really want to spend. I have some that I is for things, but I look over and I see like my jars are full of money. So even though I have that broke feeling, I like it constantly is reminding me, no, you're not. Like, and it makes me so grateful. She also says while you do it to like play a song that makes you feel that like vibe of having money and like whatever is possible. Did you pick a song yet?
I'm thinking of that. What's that one by Iniko? Hold on, I'll pull it up right now. I have a manifest list full of songs.
Mm.
And I'm like, ooh, which one off of that am I gonna use? And it's probably that. Morgan sent me this. I think she sent it to you
Oh
too.
yeah, she did. That was a good song. Let me see if I can.
She's like, when I move, it's an earthquake rumble. You know what I'm talking about?
I don't think so. I thought I did until you said that, because that didn't sound familiar. While you're looking for it, I'll tell you mine.
Jericho. It's called Jericho.
Oh, it's called Jericho. Okay, I'll put the name of it up and the singer so that people can listen to it. The one that I use is "Woman" by Kesha. That's like, I pay my own
Mm,
bills, I buy my own things, or I think that was the opposite way. It's I'm a motherfucking woman. That one. And it's all
okay.
about being able to afford everything on your own. So I feel like that's a good one for me because I do everything
Ooh,
on my own.
yeah.
So
Independent. Yeah.
yeah. So I was like singing it and feeling the vibe. It really, I love it. It's made me, and when you find that like relationship with money where you're more grateful and celebrating things and all of that, you attract more money. So that's why I said it was
Yeah.
like a big thing for me that I felt like would change everything, because I don't have that relationship with money. I don't have a way of
Mm,
attracting money because I'm not feeling the gratitude for it. I'm just, I mean, I feel grateful because I have everything I need, but that's
mm-hmm.
basically it. Not like for every bill you put in, you're finding something. And it was hard because I got so many small bills. I was sitting there like trying to figure out like, what else am I gonna be thankful for? What else can this money buy? So I just kept like trying to think, and I think it'll get easier, but I'm excited. I'm gonna do it with my kids next time so that I can have like each of us take turns saying things and being grateful for it, so I can start teaching them to be grateful for money too.
I love that. I definitely would have done that with my kids when they were younger. Might have to show them, even though they're adults. Maybe it's not too late, but I just think the kid vibe and the kid energy. And I used to get
Yeah.
my kids $2 bills from the bank, and they would get so excited, anytime they got allowance or
Yeah.
tooth fairy, because it was a $2 bill. And I was just imagining, like, oh, I would have done that with some $2 bills. They would have
Mm-hmm.
really been getting them frequencies. Like, kids know how to tap in
Yeah. They
to
do.
that vibe.
That reminds me
But I think,
actually.
hmm
Sorry, I cut you off. It was delayed, so I
no,
didn't
go
realize you
ahead.
were still talking. Okay. So I was watching something and it was talking about that frequency of like kids, of how good they are to, so when she was trying to explain manifesting to people,
Yeah.
and she explained like if you think about a kid that's like getting ready for Christmas and they're like, I really want this so much, and how excited they are. And as a parent, you're like, I want to give them this because I know how happy they'll be and how grateful they'll be. And that little kid joy of like, I know it's coming because Santa's gonna bring it, and they really believe they're gonna get it, and you do everything kind of make
Yes.
it happen. Versus the kid
Yes.
who's like doesn't appreciate things and they're kind of a brat, and they're like, you give it to them and they look at it and they're like, oh cool, and they throw it over their shoulder and they don't really care, like that type of thing. So she compared it to the universe. Like the universe is the parent of like deciding who's gonna get what, and the people who have like the little kid energy of like, it's coming, I'm so excited, they're gonna be like, yeah, let's give it to you. But the kid who's gonna get it and be like, oh cool, what's next, you don't want to give it to them. So I thought that was
Yeah.
a really cool comparison to think about the universe that way, because I want to have that kid energy so that the universe gives me all the things.
Yes. I like that. That was really dope. It kind of reminds me of when I go to these parades, because I love getting all the free things. It's just like
Mm-hmm.
my jam. And
Yeah.
so I'm always up front and I'm always getting the things. But sometimes, like this last parade that I went to, Chewbacca's, first I was standing there and people, it was somebody right here kept getting them behind me and somebody right in front of me. I'm like, I'm not getting anything, you know. And I'm like, you know what? It's my energy. I just had to be more, you know, energetic. And then I was getting all the things like,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I think I was frustrating the people behind me at that point because I just super tapped in, like, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like attracting all the people to me. Like, we want to give you things. They just saw it or felt it just to really prove the point of energetics,
Yes.
you know, and how really real that is. Kind of to paint the opposite picture. I was at the grocery store the other day walking in, well, I went in and then I came back out to get Jensen and he wasn't there. And so I was like getting a cart. And as I was doing that, I guess this man in the parking lot almost ran over another man and he hopped up off his, I guess he fell. I didn't see it happen, but one guy was on a bike and got knocked down or something. And he got up. The part I saw was him running to the dude's car and opening his door.
Oh my
I guess the dude
gosh.
did not. This is a lesson. That's why I locked my door. Second I get in that car,
Yep. It's scary. Oh
the
my gosh, you know
second
what
I
reminds
get,
me? I think it was with you. I know it was with Felicia, but I think you were there. When we went downtown and we were like leaving something. Oh, it was after the Janet Jackson concert. And we were getting in the
Mhm.
car and I started driving away. There was a guy that was like talking to you. And he came up and tried to open my door. And you were just standing there with your door open talking to him. And mine were locked. And he was just like, open the door. And I looked at him and I was like, no. And you're just standing out of your car talking to him. And I was like, she's going to get killed. And I would not open my door. Like, I would have only unlocked it if he was going to hurt you. That's the only way. If I'm coming out to fight, then fine. But I am not opening this door. And in my mind, I could not believe. I was like, how is she standing there talking to this scary man? I forgot about that. Sorry to interrupt your story. That brought me
Oh
a
my
memory.
god. No, that was worth it. But just the energy of it, like I could feel this anger. Like I started
Yeah.
feeling it inside of me. Not angry, but like the vibrations. Like my heart started racing.
Yeah.
Like I was in it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, oh my God. And they're yelling and all this and threatening. And you could just feel it as they're like yelling at each other. Like it's just waving through the air and hitting me. I'm like, oh my
That's
God, I need to get
scary.
out of here. Why am I even watching this? Because I can feel it so strong now. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like
Oh,
energies are real,
it is.
you know?
Yeah, and that's why I love the jars. It's the energy of it. It's not like splitting my money up by percentages is going to make a huge difference, but also it makes me feel less guilt about spending it. Like when I was doing the head spa thing and I went to lunch yesterday and brunch today, like that's a lot of money all in 2 days.
Yeah.
But it came from my memories jar and not my life jar. So I didn't have to feel like, oh, this could have been my phone bill. Oh, this could,
Right.
like it was just
Right.
like, this is made for this. And so I was like excited to spend it and use my money. I really think it's going to make a big difference energetically for me. So I'm very excited about it.
Yeah. I do too. Now, for me, the block with money was kind of just tracing it back. Like, I've always had a strong block, and I can't figure out until now, right? I'm learning, and this exercise is going to really break those things for me. But it's like, why? For a long time, I didn't even hear that, phrase relationship with money. That was foreign. I didn't even have
Mm-hmm.
that or think that way, right? And then once I did hear it and I wanted to hear more about it and started picking at that, what does that mean? My relationship with money and what I'm creating, right? And I just think that's how, kind of like Melanie, like we didn't grow up super rich or nothing. Like we were on welfare. We had
Yeah.
food stamps when I was a kid. Like, so it was always that thing where money, it was just like this weird thing around it. And my mom would do like some weird things. Love you, mom, rest in peace. But my mom would do some weird kind of things to get money that I'd be like, I don't know about that ethically, I'd question it. But who am I to say? I'm just a child,
Yeah.
So it's like always this weird thing,
That
right?
was
Because she didn't have enough. And now like her morals and stuff are coming into play to get it. And it's like always this thing since I was young, since I was a teen. Like one of the things I'll say that she used to do that made me question like the ethics was like, use her children's, like my social and my name, to get like her lights on, something like that, right? Because her credit maybe was
Mm-hmm.
too bad, or account was ran up, so she's like, I'll just use my kids. Yeah. And so like my credit was getting messed up out the gate because I had my mom, my siblings, like, doing this. And so it was creating this really weird relationship with money and blocks for me, where and the older I got, it was like anxiety. And I would just think about money, and it's like anxiety or fear or upset or stress. Like my stomach, I used to worry myself over money and bills till I was sick. Like, oh my God, I don't have enough to pay. How am I going to do the thing? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it was just not, I did not create, I wasn't shown. I was conditioned, and I carried that on to have really just this long life of not a good relationship with money, where I was living check to check, or Melanie said like 102%. Yeah, I'm living beyond my means, and things like that. And
Mm-hmm.
so I remember when I first started dating Jensen, not dating, but I guess living with him, when we had to share bills and get into that.
Mm-hmm.
And that was hairy and weird. And it was one of his things that we had to even talk about before we moved in together, because he's good with money and has a different relationship and different frequency. Me, I was like, and it would come to bill time, and he'd be like scared, like, I don't want to talk about this. Like, he's stressed to sit down and talk to me about the things because he don't know how I'm gonna react. That's just like 3 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
and so he
Yeah.
brought it to my attention, and I've been trying to actively work on healing that since he brought it. And I am definitely better, but there's obviously still a block. There's more that I believe I can hold and create and maintain. And I want to create that person and become that energetic match, because I just believe I can hold so much more money and have that freedom, that comes with that freedom jar. So changing
Mm-hmm.
those frequencies around it, not cringing, right? Her just saying that, I'm
Yeah.
like, yep, I used to think about money, and still even a little bit. Sometimes there's certain things, like when I go to spend it, I cringe a little bit, you know, and I'm like, that's what I have to let go. Those type of
Yeah.
things are what's pushing it more away from you. You can't be crunchy feeling around money,
Mm-hmm.
You gotta flow, love
Yeah.
it, gratitude, every little, you know
Celebrate
what I
it.
mean?
Yeah. You have to
Yes,
enjoy it.
yes,
So I'm excited.
yes,
I
yes,
love
yes.
this. I love this exercise. I'm excited to hear how it goes once you guys do it. I'm glad you're doing it with him. I think it'll be really good. I love, like, she talks about, like, she got up to making like $40,000, and she would go take $40,000 out of the bank and split it into jars. She had to get the big jars. And I just think that's so cool. And then she was like, at this point, it's getting to like a safety concern. So then she stopped doing the jars. But I love that she like was so grateful for money for that long. And she says that that's the thing that like really changed things for her. And
Yeah,
now I mean, she made a post that they made their first $1 million in her business on the 19th. It took her
yep,
19 days of this year to make $1 million. And at
yes.
the time when she started using these jars, they had nothing. And it's like, that's
Not
wild.
even $100, she said,
Yeah.
which I do want to say for anyone listening, if you're wanting to try this exercise, you can do it with less. Melanie said she started with literal coins. Like, she did not have
Yeah.
$100 that she could even go to the bank and take out to put into all these jars that Brittany just showed she had to take. Change. Think about that. And she was crying and
Yeah.
tearful, thinking of what she's created. Because what did Brittany just say? She just earned $1 million in 19 days. Think about the woman that held the jars with change, and the woman that had to stop and think of something else because it was too much money and it's creating this. And so I believe in that. I believe in it for
Yeah.
myself. I believe I can create that. And the fact that she's living proof is all I need. You literally did this. I believe you. And I believe I can create that in me too, you know?
Yeah. That's one of the things I
So,
love watching about her, because she makes me believe so much. Because literally, like, I think maybe 7 years ago, something like that, she was living in her car. She was
mhm.
homeless. And her story is just so inspiring to me. She started, like, when she started coaching, she was still living in her car. And now
Yes.
she's created this amazing business. And I'm just like, it really gives me so much hope in myself, and like believing that I can do it. Because if you can find gratitude in life sitting in your car having no food for days, you can find gratitude in your life no matter what. So she's very
Yeah.
inspiring in that way.
Yeah. I think what was impactful on this one, especially for me, was realizing she still was kind of at that 100%, even as she was like in her business and starting to create it and with her husband already, and they were living in the
Mm-hmm.
basement and nomads, right? I'm like, that's really powerful. That super resonates with me, because she tapped in, they tapped in, and they created this. This is a newer thing. This isn't something she created eons ago, right? This is
Mm-hmm.
something newer that's not that long ago, right? Within what, 10 years, I think she's really done this whole thing. But just to kind of picture her, because the way I was looking at the story before, it was just kind of like she's homeless and then kind of instant success. Like, oh, I got my
Yeah.
first client and then wildfire, right? I didn't realize, like, oh, I was creating and yeah, I was getting the clients and things, but I was still living at 102%,
Mm-hmm.
and like booking and then paying retro. That was powerful. I'm like,
Yeah.
man, if she can turn that around in that moment, yeah, I
Yeah.
can definitely create that at any time. I can do it now, I can do it later, right? And that's just, I'm so in the mode this year. I'm determined to create. I'm determined to next year we sitting on this podcast, and it's just something great that I really
Yeah.
did do this year, and not me being like, oh, Brittany,
Yeah.
not another year. You know what I
That would
mean?
suck. I don't want to be there. I don't. That's exactly. I was just going to say,
No.
how cool will it be if a year from now we can come on and talk about these jars and we can say, look how much these jars changed us this year. Look what we've been
Yeah.
able to do. Like, that's what I
Yeah.
want. So every time
Yeah.
that I'm working hard, when I'm having those moments of frustration and stuff,
Yeah.
I am just so excited. Like, that's what
Yeah.
I want. That's the big goal and the point of
Yes.
it. So
Yes.
I think that'll be really helpful. I don't want to going through a year and ending it feeling like, gosh dang it, I wish I would have done what I said I was going to do. That
Yeah, it doesn't feel
sucks.
good.
Yeah,
No,
I don't want to do
no,
that.
I've done it. I'm over it. I don't want
Yeah,
to be saying to myself, and I darn sure don't want to be saying to you, like, you know,
yeah,
didn't really do the things.
yeah,
When I know it's all up to me, when I know I have the power, not saying it's going to be easy. I've already said
yeah.
some of these, right, are a pain and things like that, but just keep going, just keep
Mhm.
doing it and leaning into it, just keep creating it. It's bound to have that compound. I really liked that popcorn visual she gave, because that really helped me to sink in that compound effect of what I'm
I don't know if
doing.
I remember the popcorn. What did she say about it?
She's like, you know how you microwave it, and at first few seconds you don't hear
Oh,
anything, it's silent, then it's like one pop, silence, pop, and how it picks
mm-hmm.
up, pop, pop, and then like that. It's the compound effect. She's like, just add that
Yeah.
heat. Don't stop. Don't give up. Just add heat to it, and I'm
I
like, ooh,
love
I
that.
like that. Add
That
heat,
didn't stick with me
you
at all.
know?
I don't even remember hearing that. It's so interesting
Yeah,
talking to you about these after because almost every single time you've talked about things that stuck out to you, and I'm like, oh, I don't even remember that. And like
that's
other
cool.
things are hitting me. And what's really cool about is that when I rewatch her programs, I get
Mm-hmm.
something completely different because I'm a different
Oh,
version of
yeah.
myself listening to it. So I learned
Oh,
something new. So that's what I think it's like that with us. Like we're living in different stages of our lives right now. So things stick out to you, not me. And I'm sure the things that
mm-hmm.
stick out to
Mm-hmm.
me are not as much for you. And it's really
Yeah.
cool. And that's why I love rewatching them.
Yeah. Yeah. I haven't gotten to a rewatch phase yet, but
Yeah.
I will be there because it's something that I'm at that phase where I do constantly need it. It's that
Mm-hmm.
gas, it's that heat for me. If I start to feel like I'm letting my foot off the pedal a little bit, she gets me right back in there. A good Melanie video is
Yeah.
like
I love her.
booster shot.
Yeah, it's great. And it really, and that's why, like, we talk about her a lot, but it's because it really is changing who we are. And we want to talk about how we're changing from it. And it's really nice. I love her so much. I think that if we start, I still have to watch the last day of the one that we were doing. And I think you do too. I was waiting to finish
Yeah.
my planning because it's like a celebration call. So I wanted to be done with everything. So I think I'm going to watch
Mm-hmm.
that today. But
Okay.
then next week, once you're ready and caught up with everything, you've done the money jars, we should start the impact what the social media one, and then we could
Let's
talk
do
about
it.
social media and work through that, because I have been struggling with it lately too. So I feel like rewatching it in the vibe that I'm currently in will be very helpful for me. So,
Okay.
and it gives homework of like, okay, you have to make a post doing this, so then it forces you to do that, and you like, it makes you start posting and like figure out your vibe and stuff, and I
Which
think
is
it'll
what
be
I need.
helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so we can start that,
Great
do that, and be
idea.
able to talk about them. Thank you guys so much for watching with us. We're going to talk about divorce this week, but we ended up going for 3 hours on this episode, and so we're going to post another one on Thursday to have a special episode about divorce. But yeah, we're really excited. Next week we're gonna have our friend Monica, and she is amazing. Her energy is unreal. You're gonna freaking love her. But she is a business owner. She's been doing it for a long time. Recently her business has changed. We'll let her talk about that. But she's starting to do couples retreats, and it's gonna be really exciting. So we're gonna have her next week. And yeah, we'll have another special episode on Thursday.
We appreciate you tuning in so much. We had a lot to go over. So we're actually going to go ahead, like I mentioned in the beginning, and most likely split this into 2 episodes. That's a definite now. So
Yes.
tune in for part 2. It's going to post on Thursday at 1 o'clock Central. Is that
Mountain
right?
Standard Time.
Mountain, 1 o'clock
Yeah.
Mountain Standard for part 2 of our divorce topic. There's some really good stuff that we get
Yeah.
into, like really,
It's
really
really good.
healing and juicy and nice. So definitely catch the second part of this episode.
Yeah. Bye.